Hello friends, today we will discuss design against fluctuating load. Consider a rotating beam of circular cross section and carrying a load W. This load induces the stress in the beam which are cyclic in nature. A little consideration will show that the upper fiber of the beam at point A is under compressive and the lower fiber at point B will be under tension. The half revolution of the beam, you will see B occupies its position A and the point A occupies its position B. Thus the point B is now under compressive stress and point A is under tensile stress. Okay. From above we see that for each revolution of beam the stresses are reversed from compressive to tensile. The stresses which are varying from one value of compressive to the same value of tensile or vice versa are known as completely reverse or cyclic stresses. There are three types of such stresses: fluctuating or alternating stresses, repeated stresses and reverse stresses. We will see it one by one now. Let us take first case, fluctuating stresses or alternating stresses. The load which vary in magnitude with respect to time are known as fluctuating or alternating loads, and the stresses induced in the component are known as fluctuating stresses. Here you can see there is minimum stress and maximum stress. So mean stress is calculated by adding sigma max plus sigma mean by 2, and amplitude stress is calculated by subtracting sigma max minus sigma mean by 2. So this way we can find sigma m and sigma a. Now second one is repeated stresses. The stresses which varies from 0 to certain maximum value is known as repeated stress. In earlier case we have seen fluctuating stresses or alternating stresses. The stresses were ranging from minimum to maximum. Now here in this case it is from 0 to maximum. So sigma m and sigma a is going to be sigma max by 2, because we know sigma m is equal to sigma max plus sigma mean by 2 and sigma a is equal to sigma max minus sigma mean by 2. If you solve it, we will get sigma m and sigma a as sigma max by 2. Now the third one is reverse stress or completely reverse stress. The stress which varies from one value of compressive to the same value of tensile is known as reverse stress. Here we will see positive and negative stresses. So sigma mean is equal to minus sigma max. So sigma m is calculated as sigma max plus sigma mean by 2, which is equal to 0, and sigma amplitude is equal to sigma max minus sigma mean by 2, which is equal to sigma max. So for reverse stresses, sigma m is equal to 0 and sigma a is equal to sigma max. The endurance limit is determined by rotating beam machine in laboratory. A standard specimen of standard size and polished surface is rotated by electric motor, and number of revolutions before appearance of first fatigue crack are recorded on the revolution counter. Here you can see there is a revolution counter here. This is the specimen and this is electric motor. Electric motor drives this specimen. This specimen is subjected to a load which you can see from here. So the experiment is performed and you will have to note down the stress, the fatigue crack, when the fatigue crack is occurred. First fatigue crack is occurred, that is to be recorded on the revolution counter. Self-aligning ball bearings are used to ensure that only radial loads are applied on the specimen. Thus the test specimen is subjected to pure bending and magnitude of bending stress is adjusted by means of weight. You can see these are the weights shown here. Okay. To determine endurance, number of tests are to be carried out. During each test, the specimen is subjected to constant bending load and the number of revolutions or stress cycles before appearance of first fatigue crack are measured. During first test, bending stress is kept slightly less than ultimate tensile strength of material. In second test specimen, the test tested with the stress slightly lesser than that used for first test, and again the number of cycle before fracture take place is counted. This process is continued. The result of these tests are plotted on SN curve, which you can see here. SN curve is a graphical representation of applied stress versus number of cycles before fatigue failure on a log paper. So it is to be plotted on a log paper. So here this side you can see number of cycle, and this one is going to be the stress, which is plotted on log paper. Each test gives one failure point. An average curve is drawn through all failure point, because the curve will not pass through all the points, so you will have to take average into account. So for ferrous material like steel, SN curve becomes an asymptote at 10 raised to power 6 cycle, which indicate stress level corresponding to infinite number of stress cycles. The magnitude of this stress is called endurance strength of material, designated by SE. You can see it here. So it is shown here. SE dash is endurance limit of rotating beam specimen subjected to reverse bending stress. So it is the endurance limit of rotating beam specimen. Similarly, SE is endurance limit for a particular component which you want to find endurance limit of. So here there are two endurance limits, which one is SE dash and second one is SE. SE dash is endurance limit for specimen, and SE is endurance limit for the component. So fatigue limit or endurance limit, the maximum amplitude of completely reverse stress that a standard specimen can sustain for an unlimited number of cycles without fatigue failure. Fatigue failure is time delayed fracture under cyclic loading. So you will have to you can get a fatigue limit or endurance limit stress when you plot SN curve. Now coming to the stress concentration. Stress concentration occur wherever there is abrupt change in cross section. It is defined as the localized or localization of high stresses due to irregularities or abrupt change of cross section. So here you can see some of the specimens which shows you abrupt change in cross section. This stress concentration cannot be totally eliminated, but it can be reduced by avoiding sudden change in cross sectional area. So here few examples are shown. You can see there are different methods to minimize or reduce stress concentration. Here a groove is shown here to minimize or reduce stress concentration. Here also you can see there is abrupt change in cross section, so there is much stress concentration, so you will have to produce fillet here. Okay, there are many examples shown here. So you can find theoretical stress concentration factor or geometrical stress concentration factor, or that is also known as form stress concentration factor, that is denoted by KT. So what is theoretical stress concentration factor? It is defined as the ratio of the maximum stress in a member at notch or fillet to the nominal stress at the same section based upon net area. So maximum stress divided by nominal stress is going to be a stress concentration factor KT. The value of KT depends upon the material and geometry of part. Now fatigue stress concentration factor. The theoretical stress concentration factor Kt is applicable only to ideal material because it is theoretical, that are homogeneous and isotropic. But in actual practice the material is not homogeneous and isotropic, hence in actual practice the fatigue stress concentration factor Kf is to be taken into consideration, and which is equal to endurance limit of notch free specimen divided by endurance limit of notched specimen. So endurance limit of notch free specimen divided by endurance limit of notched specimen is Kf, that is fatigue stress concentration factor. So these two you need to focus more on while thinking of stress concentration, that is theoretical stress concentration factor Kt and fatigue stress concentration factor Kf. Next comes is notch sensitivity. So notch sensitivity is denoted by Q. The term notch sensitivity is used to relate the fatigue stress concentration factor Kf with the theoretical stress concentration factor Kt. It indicates the sensitivity of material to notches or discontinuities. It is defined as the ratio of increase of actual stress over nominal stress to increase of theoretical stress over nominal stress. So here you can see increase of actual stress over nominal stress divided by increase of theoretical stress over nominal stress. If you put these values, you will get a formula for Kf from PSG 7.6 to find fatigue stress concentration factor Kf, which is equal to 1 plus Q in bracket Kt minus 1. If I put Q equal to 0, then Kf becomes 1, and when I put Q equal to 1, Kf becomes equal to Kt. So you can find the value of Q from PSG 7.8. Endurance limit of the specimen and endurance limit for component. So what is the relation between these, we will now find. So before finding that, we know that SE dash is endurance limit for the beam specimen and SE is endurance limit for the component. So if you refer to the values for endurance limit of specimen, for steel it is 0.5 times ultimate stress, for cast iron or cast steel it is endurance limit for specimen I am talking of. Endurance limit for specimen is 0.4 times ultimate stress. For wrought aluminum alloys, endurance limit for specimen is 0.4 times ultimate stress, and for cast aluminum alloys, endurance limit for specimen is 0.3 times ultimate stress. Endurance limit of a component is different from endurance limit of rotating beam specimen due to number of factors. Different modifying factors are used to account for this difference. So from this endurance limit of specimen we can find endurance limit for component. So these values, SE is equal to 0.5 times sigma ut is for steel, for cast iron it is 0.4 times sigma u, for wrought iron it is 0.4 times sigma u, and for cast aluminum it is 0.3 times sigma u. These are the values for endurance limit of rotating beam specimen. Now what is the endurance limit for the component? So we know SE is endurance limit for the specimen. We want to find out endurance limit for component. So for that this equation is used, that is SE is equal to Ka into Kb into Kc into Kd into SE dash. So what are these Ka, Kb, Kc, Kd are? These are factors which modifies endurance limit for specimen to find endurance limit for a given component. Ka is surface finish factor, which is equal to A into ultimate stress raised to power B, which can be found out by PSG 7.17. Kb is size factor, which depends on the diameter. If diameter is less than 7.5 mm, Kb is 1. 7.5 to 50 mm, it is 0.85, and when diameter is more than 50, it is 0.75. Kc is reliability factor. If reliability is 95%, Kc is 0.868. If reliability is 99%, Kc is 99%. If it is, then Kc is equal to 0.814. If 99.9, then 0.753. If it is 50%, it is going to be 100. And Kd is modifying factor to account for stress concentration. So Kd is equal to 1 upon Kf, fatigue stress concentration factor. So Kd is equal to 1 upon Kf. So if you replace this Kd here, so it is going to be AC is equal to Ka, Kb, Kc, and Kd is replaced by 1 upon Kf. So it is endurance limit for component, that is AC dash divided by Kf it is going to be. So Ka, Kb, Kc, AC dash by Kf is going to be the formula. So this way we can find endurance limit for component from endurance limit for the specimen. Okay. Now there are few equations which we need to talk about before going for solving numerical on this particular topic. First one is Goodman equation. Now here a straight line connecting the endurance limit is AC and the ultimate stress sigma u. So here you can see this is AC and this is ultimate stress. So the straight line connecting endurance limit AC and ultimate strength sigma u is shown by line AB, follows the suggestion of given by Goodman. A Goodman line is used when the design is based on ultimate strength and may be used for ductile or brittle material. This line is most commonly used. The line AB connecting endurance limit and ultimate stress is called Goodman's failure stress line. If suitable factor of safety is applied to endurance limit and ultimate strength, the safe stress line CD may be drawn parallel to line AB. So here you can see a line CD is drawn which is parallel to line AB. Now if you solve this by taking into consideration similar triangles COD and PQD. So if you solve these two similar triangles, the equation which we get is 1 upon n is equal to sigma m by sigma u plus sigma a by SE, or endurance limit for component. So by this equation we can find factor of safety. By this is Goodman equation. Next we will go for Soderberg equation. As in case of Goodman equation, we have seen that we have to consider ultimate stress. So here a straight line for connecting the endurance limit, that is SE, and yield strength sigma y. The line AB follows the suggestion of Soderberg line This line is used when design is based on yield strength. In case of Goodman, that was for ultimate strength. Now here it is in case of Soderbergh, it is yield strength. The Soderbergh method is particularly used for ductile material. The line AB connecting endurance limit and yield strength is called Soderbergh failure stress line. When mean stress is plotted on x-axis and sigma A is plotted on y-axis, and if criteria of failure is yield strength, then the line joining endurance strength and yield strength is known as Soderbergh line, which is recommended for ductile material only. If suitable factor of safety is applied to endurance limit and yield strength, the safe stress line CD may be drawn parallel to the line AB. So here you can see this is AB line and the line CD is drawn parallel to AB. So by considering similar triangles COD, COD and PQD. So by considering these two similar triangles, if you solve it, you will get one equation, that is factor of safety can be found by this equation. 1 upon n is equal to sigma m by sigma y plus sigma a by SE. SE is endurance limit for a component. If you see these equations, so along with Goodman line and Soderbergh line, there is one more line that is also known as Gerber's parabola. So there are three equations which we will come across. One is Goodman's equation, that is 1 upon n sigma m equal to sigma m by ultimate stress, that is sigma u plus sigma a by SE. Soderbergh equation is 1 upon n is sigma m by ultimate stress, yield stress plus sigma a by SE. And Gerber's equation is 1 upon n is equal to sigma m by ultimate stress bracket square into n plus sigma a by SE. In PSG, it is given in terms of this sigma a by SE plus sigma m by sigma u square equal to 1. So SE is endurance limit for component. So these three equations we can use. Based on the given, we can make use of suitable equations and solve the problems. Okay, then in next class we will see how to solve numericals based on design against fluctuating loads. Thank you.